I'm Trinity Johnson. These are my two live audience members, and this is my speech on the impact of parenting style. You've heard of the controversy before. Is hitting children an effective form of discipline? Will kids with strict parents learn respect, or will this form of parenting cause more harm than good? Studies conducted by Dr. Yang E. Rhee, a leading Boston pediatrician, and published in the journal Pediatrics, showed that parenting styles have a direct effect on the psychological, social, and emotional development of children. There are three main parenting styles, with the authoritative style, also known as the assertive style, being the most effective by far. This problem is not only overlooked, but has a huge impact on your life, even if you don't have a child. Authoritarian parenting is a style that many of the older generation prefer. However, it is not usually effective or appropriate. Although this can help in the short term, maybe a kid refuses to do their homework, but in most cases, it can be very harmful in the long term. Authoritarian parents often use physical intimidation or punishment in their parenting practice, which they believe teaches the child to obey. What they fail to realize is that they are conditioning their children to think that being hit by the ones they love is okay, and then are more likely to accept abuse from partners in relationships. Abigail Tuttle, author of the book Parenting, says, "A wealth of research indicates that physical punishment yields obedience out of fear, which quickly translates into transgressions when the fear is alleviated." Authoritarian parents usually believe that the parent always knows best, making them have no consideration for the child's needs or opinions. This leads to extremely low self-esteem. They are taught that their feelings aren't valid. It can also make kids overly submissive, enhancing the chance of them to end up in a domestic abuse situation. On the other hand, kids with strict parents can also become more rebellious. Gwen Dewar from ParentingScience.com says, "Kids from authoritarian families are more likely to increase aggressive or defiant behavior over time." The other style of parenting that usually has a negative outcome for the child is permissive parenting. Permissive parents take discipline in a whole other direction. That is, they don't discipline their child at all or don't follow through with disciplinary actions. This leads to a child that does not hold themselves accountable for their actions because they were never taught it was necessary. By following through with previously set consequences, the child does not have consistent expectations. Permissive parents are more likely to do things for their child that the children should be experiencing on their own, hence them not learning the necessary skills to be an adult. Gwen Dewar from ParentingScience.com says, "Children with permissive parents are less likely to experience behavioral problems, but these kids tend to have more troubles than children raised with authoritative parents, and they may achieve less in school." Despite both parenting styles being very different, they are both considered childhood maltreatment. Cindy L. Miller-Perrin from the Macmillan Encyclopedia of Families, Marriages, and Intimate Relationships says, "Childhood experiences of maltreatment are frequently associated with a myriad of problems that may affect the physical, cognitive, socio-emotional, and/or behavioral function of children and adolescents that may extend to adulthood and could emerge as constellations of symptoms representing several psychiatric disorders." If we want to break this cycle of abuse and neglect, we have to change our attitudes, especially parents. The ideal style of parenting would be authoritative. This allows a healthy relationship between you and your child. For example, instead of forcing a child to do something through physical abuse, try persisting with your child and listen to their feelings, making them feel more safe and likely to cooperate. If the child still won't cooperate, instead of harsh punishments, communicate with your child beforehand to discuss appropriate consequences, if the child is old enough, of course. Spend less time blaming your child and reflect on yourself as a parent and how this could have caused certain behavior. Instead of letting a child run free with no true boundaries, give them clear instructions on what is expected of them. Be honest with your own feelings as well. Your children are always observing your behavior and mirroring it. This style of parenting allows a child to feel safe, loved, and understood. This sense of empowerment will lead them to share their lives and feelings with you, creating a model of what a truly healthy relationship looks like. These kids end up more confident, open-minded, and responsible. These kids also tend to end up more independent, making the pressures of eventual adult life easier to handle. Imagine if more parents utilized this parenting style. We would have a society of kinder and more productive individuals. To help achieve a better society, we all have to put in an effort. Here are some ways you can advocate for proper parenting. If you are a parent yourself, do research on parenting and ways to make your child the best they can be. Although the authoritative style is ideal, each child is different. Certain aspects of this parenting style can be tailored to meet the needs of the child. If you don't have a child, spread awareness about childhood maltreatment and call out those who are emotionally and physically harming their children. Today, we have discussed 3 styles of parenting: authoritarian, permissive, and authoritative. As you can see, the research overwhelmingly supports that authoritative parenting is the most effective style. At the end of the day, one of the most important things to do is communicate with your children and affirm them that their thoughts and feelings are valid.